My beautiful sister is here. I have 3 sisters. Came from Missouri. Well, just adorable niece. And so they came, and my daughter came up from Baylor, drove up to today to be here. Yes. And so the women in my family look like my sister. They're fair skinned, and she's actually more caramel than the rest. And so I grew up with my complexion. My father, the only one having the complexion similar to like mine. And so, as much as I was loved in my household, I didn't fit in until my dad got home, because I looked like the shoe that you had in the tree in that Highlights magazine. They're trying to figure out where does she fit, what doesn't fit in this picture. And so that was the foundation that led me to accepting several marriage proposals. So my chapter 1 is about being single. I've not been married. I've been engaged a lot. And so, are there any runaway brides in the commitment folks? Yes. But part of it was that journey. Why would you accept a marriage proposal when you know that person can't carry you? You know, I heard of this story where the practice of an eagle when she's finding a mate is to take a tree branch, and she drops it. It should be the size of what a baby eagle would be. And so then if her suitor can run and catch it before it hits the ground, then she knows if one of our babies were to perhaps to get a little energetic and fall out the nest, I know he's got it. And she will work her way up until she gets a branch almost her size, and she drops it. And if he can catch it before it hits the ground, he's a contender. Because she needs to know, can he catch me? And so there's this evaluation to determine, do you fit for me? And so that's been my journey. Part of that dating experience connects you with individuals that are not for you. And so I had well hidden a part of an experience that I had because I didn't want to be known as the woman who had been raped. I always needed to be strong. And I wanted people to identify me with the girl who's going to get it done. And all these other adjectives that would lean towards success. And I viewed that experience as being that I was weak. And so I never shared it. In fact, until recently, I hadn't told my family the whole story. And so I went to tell them because I knew that they wouldn't be able to handle it. Right. Because my baby was in the house when it happened. And so what God does is he brings people into your life when it's time. Yes. And so I've been through counseling. I have a sister that will do whatever she needs to do to support me. And so I had this wonderful pastor, because he's after he did the circumstance, did the court, and it's all in the book, he started stalking me. And so there was this community that came around me that said, not this daughter. We're going to protect you. And so here recently, when I knew it was time to share the story, that in ministry, there were several people that were coming to me, and they would open their heart. Now, I do finance. I've been in finance for 30 years. We'd be counting money. And they just said, Janelle, and I'm always reaching out to my team and saying, how's your heart? How can I pray for you? I just wanted to connect with them to make sure that they're spiritually walking well, not just coming to church and counting. And so one just broke down and told me, Janelle, I'm hiding something. I've got to let someone know because it's burying me. And she went on to tell me that she had been raped. And so I walked with her through the experience. Another woman came, told me a similar circumstance, and it just kept coming. And so I said, if these ladies are brave enough to tell their story, there becomes this boldness that says, I can be the same person in spite of any of the thorns in my life. And so one of my favorite poets is Maya Angelou, and she writes, I can be changed by my circumstance, but I refuse to be reduced by it. Yes. And so I stand here unreduced, as strong through the running tears, because there is strength when the tears run. And I appreciate being able to share the story in the comfort of women who did not make me feel as if it was going to be something to be shameful of, right? It had to be transparent. Because things that are covered up don't heal. They just don't. We want Band-Aids and we want everything to be pretty, but it doesn't always need to be. So Are you ready to buy this book or what?
Yes.
I am so proud of that. Finally, we wanted to feature one of our authors on today, and we went to our birthday celebration with Angela at our favorite spot, Season 52, and the collection of us. And Sharice was sharing that she was near celebrating 20 years with her husband. Can we pause this? And I reached out to her and I said, do you know what a testimony that is? Do you know how awesome that is? And even me being a single, who may get married at some point, just being able to have that as an example. And there are 89% of marriages that are in professional sports end in divorce. 89%. She's part of 11%. Now, wait, she's even smaller than that. Oh, we can applaud for that. Come on. Yeah, because not only is she part of 11%, the percentage drops the further the years go along. So that 89% is the top 3 years. So she shares that quote, but really where she's at, the sky is higher. Like she's in the nosebleed section. Yes. And so I wanted to celebrate that as I celebrate my parents who are celebrating 60 years of marriage this year. Still in love with all their medications and ailments. Still in love. And so Sharice is our featured author, and she's going to give us opportunities to interact. And so with you all, and she's hosting today. Didn't she do this thing? Come on. So Sharice owns several businesses. So if you stick around long enough, she's going to find some sweatpants and make you work out. So y'all better run out. She enjoys working out. She also has a modeling agent and talent agency. She caters, so the food that you enjoyed on today, not only was it pretty, it tastes well, right? And sometimes it's either one or the other, right? And so she just has this touch and this glow. It's one thing to invite people into your home, but Sharice invites people into her heart. Would you please receive her? She's chapters in the book. She is chapter 13 and chapter 5. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I wasn't supposed to introduce her.